Greetings, fellow crystal gems. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to I don't know, is this the finale or isn't it the finale? A very
No,
unconclusive.
it's
What?
the season. It's definitely the season finale.
Oh, good, good. Okay, so welcome to a very conclusive episode of Tiki's Universe, the show where we talk about Steven Universe. Yes, yes. That's right, folks. We kind of branched off the Tiki's Universe banner. Like with DuckTales and Big Hero 6, we just kind of like, it's the DuckTales and Big Hero 6 recaps. But Tiki's Universe is always going to be for Steven Universe. And here we are at the end of season 5. And my God, Dragon, things feel conclusive. Things feel like they've wrapped up. And the only nitpick I have with any of this, to tell you the truth, is the fact that we kind of end on a cliffhanger. Like, if we didn't end on a cliffhanger with this, it would have ultimately been like, all right, if we get a season 6, we get a season 6. But things were wrapping up, Dragon, to the point where I was like, if this is the ending to the show, this is like a perfectly acceptable ending point here.
Well, we do have
And as it
confirmation.
stands now, even with the cliffhanger, I don't really know if there's enough there to do a full on like. I think if anything, we should do like a 12 part, like a shortened season, if anything else.
Well, we do have confirmation that season 6 is official. They are doing a season 6, and they have footage of it already. So I mean, they I don't know how full they're going with it, but we're definitely getting it. So
Mm-hmm.
yay!
I
But
definitely
more
think, like I said, I definitely think season 6 should be the last season, and I think it should be shortened, if anything else.
I don't think you're wrong. And let's just say after we get through our round of our kind of last season, Stephen Bomb of the season, we'll speculate as to kind of what I think they should how what we should think they should probably do within a last season, ideally for yeah, Steven Universe.
All right, but
Ready?
before we get into it episode by episode, Dragon, I believe we have a little song to sing for the audience.
Yes.
Okay. Brace yourselves, folks. We
Are the crystal.
gems.
We always save the day.
And if you think we can't, we'll.
Always find a way.
That's why the people
Of this world.
believe in
Garnet
amethyst
and Pearl
and
and Steven. Yeah.
yeah. All right, Dragon. So let's just I really don't think we need to spend a ton of time on some of these episodes. I think specifically
Basically, we're building to the big finale, folks, and
and
let's
also I have a lot to say about 21 as well, but I think 19 and 20 now we're only falling apart and what's your problem can kind of be grouped together, although now we're really falling apart, which let's start with that one, of course.
Okay, real quick, let's just break it down for folks here. Of course, folks, we're kind of tackling the whole Stephen bomb, and we have a better feeling about it than that one time that we did that. So we have.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God.
So I think on the whole, this was a vast improvement from that one really disappointing Stephen bomb that
This
we
is
did get.
actually probably the best set of episodes in all of season 5, I would say.
This is quite possibly the best constructed of the Stephen bombs because this one actually it was definitely building to the finale. They knew what they were doing, and they basically every episode. The reason we definitely decided to kind of cover it all as an all in one here is because every episode leading to the big finale is like a to be continued. It's very much leading into the next one. Hence the whole like every day a new episode of Steven Universe, all of that. So it's very intentionally kind of intended to be looked at as kind of like a big overarching thing, building to the big special, whammo blammo season 5 ender. So that's how we're breaking this off. We're gonna kind of give you a title. We're gonna talk about. Well, as Tiki said, we're not gonna spend a lot of time until we get to the real meat and potatoes of it all. Let's say so. That said, all right, do you want to jump into it?
Yeah, sure. The thing I like about this first episode here is it's basically just kind of like a really good summation of everything that's happened. It's kind of like, it's a Pearl episode, yay. And it very much feels like, okay, this is like, it's not a very flashy episode, but it's just kind of like checking in, like, this is kind of putting the pieces in place. This is the status quo right now as it stands. This is exactly what is going on.
Let's not forget the big revelation that we were, from a single pale rose. I think that's what the episode was called. We had the whole, that the rose. We confirmed that all the fan theories that Rose was in fact Pink Diamond the whole time. It was the Bruce Willis of diamonds.
Yes, yes.
But no, of course, no. She's far better than Bruce Willis. But yeah, yes. So we definitely see some aftermath. Of course, I love good aftermath and storytelling. We can get away with that. Garnet, I love the sense of aftermath and that Garnet logically, as we saw in the big, Pearl lied to Garnet years ago. Well, seasons ago, I should say, more accurately. The whole, was it the Keystone Motel? Was that it?
Something like that.
I think it was the Keystone. It was a motel. No, Stephen, that's a hotel. We're staying in a motel. That whole thing. The point is, Garnet, when she's really emotionally agitated, basically her fusion, like her relationship, will kind of break down because it's in upheaval, and she'll split. Ruby and Sapphire, the fully functional relationship that is Garnet, will split, and then of course the hijinks will ensue, and that's definitely what we have going on here. It's a no-brainer that of course she'd be upset because, as we saw in Tiki, I love how well laid out it is and how many callbacks there are to other episodes throughout the Stephen Bomb, specifically to one called The Question, where we saw in the answer how Garnet fused for the first time, the whole figure. It was a very popular episode, really good episode, and of course how she met Rose and how like being a fusion was kind of looked at as being as a gift in Rose's eyes, which kind of made Garnet feel good about herself as a fusion. So all of that pays off here in a really great way. That kind of Garnet is kind of the MB, more accurately Ruby and Sapphire, but Garnet as the whole is the MVP of the Stephen Bomb.
And of course, after season 1, the big thing was like, when are we going to get to see Ruby and Sapphire again? And we got that with, Keystone Motel and a couple episodes along the way, as you said. But this is definitely the most that we've gotten out of Ruby and Sapphire, and in a big way, it's definitely an appropriate way to kind of end things off, getting all this development from kind of both sides of things.
Yes, and I love that Garnet. We definitely we look at the leadership of the Crystal Gems here, and we do have we kind of go somewhere with that. Where we see that Garnet is, again, Garnet is a great symbol of this as in general. Garnet is very much the glue. She is kind of a fusion, therefore kind of gluing two gems together in a way. And Garnet being the glue not only of that, of relationships and stability, is the stability and kind of the glue of the team. And with that in upheaval, the gems, they basically, the gems have learned that their whole group, the Crystal Gems, everything they believed in was forged on a lie. And I love how, again, all of this made tremendous sense. Like Sapphire, of course, be the clairvoyant of the group. Sapphire, the person who has the future vision, would be the most upset that she didn't see it coming, that she didn't put two and two together. So she logically, in this episode, is the most upset in the moment. She's kind of going the parts unknown, kind of think about, oh my God, how could I have been so blind and foolish and not have seen this? And that's all fake, based on a lie. Why, Rose? Why? All of that. And the Pearl. Let me get the Pearl story. Oh my God, Pearl! I love having Pearl back so much. It's just happiness.
It's just a shame that like season 5, she pretty much sat out up until this arc.
Yeah, but she came back pretty big towards the end of it, though.
Yeah, she did. She did.
So I love the Pearl story here.
I wish we had more time to talk about it, because the Pearl stuff and the Rose stuff really does kind of cement everything. I believe it's like the furthest back we go with the timeline, and we really do just get kind of that as I said, it's not necessarily new information, but it's just kind of putting all the pieces in place in a really captivating kind of way.
Yes, and you're right. It is the furthest back that we do go, because again, we see like Pearl's first day on the job, essentially, and I love kind of this almost like the bodyguard type story that Pearl has with Rose, where she wants to serve a dime. And I love how just genuine Pearl's like, I want to do a good job, or she just wants that, she's nervous about it, or she's a Pearl, therefore she is kind of in service to Pink Diamond, and Pink Diamond's kind of the most mellow of the of the gems. Again, she was kind of the intimation. Again, we still don't have full confirmation on this, but that's not a problem. It's just something that makes me wonder, like, was Pink Diamond a spoiled brat about getting her own colony, and then she backtracked on? Because I think we still follow that idea. I think that's it. And then anyway, so Pearl, she just wants to please her Diamond, and kind of Pink Diamond's a little dismissive, dismissive of Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And Susan Egan's performance is great,
Oh my God, yes.
so good, and I love just the relationship that's conveyed thanks to Egan and Dee Mango. It's just it's so great, it's so real, it's so genuine. You see the growth in the relationship, the idea that Pearl's kind of like the C-3PO counterpart to the Pink Diamond. And it's like, oh my God, Pearl, yes, that's a great idea. Wait, I didn't suggest anything. I was doing what you said. I was following the program in here. I was doing my job. And basically, the story that we already knew about how we saw we had it kind of artistically express that Pink Diamond fell in love with the Earth and then faked her death. Well, basically shattered Pink Diamond. Then we saw the whole Pearl revelation. Now we're seeing it firsthand. What changed Rose's mind essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing that story told firsthand. Had an emotional payoff when we saw Pearl. It's such a beautiful scene. We're never going to do it justice, but I just love the big fusing with Pearl moment. It really got me. It was like, oh my God, it's like Pearl has this beautiful moment. She blushes. I love how she blushes in blue, and she's blushing as she just keeps saying how much she's kind of come to love Pink Diamond essentially. And she just keeps saying, like, maybe there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with my maybe I need to, you need to find, and again, not program, but maybe I was like, you need a new Pearl. I need to be replaced immediately. And then we have, of course, the classic star-eyed Rose. And she's, please don't ever stop. I love that
Oh,
statement so
that's
much.
so adorable. Yeah.
That's what Pearl is. Pearl's that character. She's just a lovable neurotic who will never stop. She'll just be running and very neurotic and just very scattered and you always again she's like a crumbling C-3PO to an extent, and just that human moment of please don't ever stop. And in the heat of that connection, just they fuse for a moment. I love that we don't see the fusion, but they fuse for a moment, and then it's interrupted by the ultimate symbol of fusion, that is Garnet. That was kind of their awakening. So Garnet was the big, Garnet was the big point of genesis for them. But as we learn in the episode, it was all thanks to Pearl. It was all, Pearl was kind of she brought Pink Diamond there. Pearl's the reason for it all. It was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that about it for the episode?
Yeah, let's get to the next one. Should go by really quick.
Okay. The next one really is just kind of like the one thing that I think you and I can agree on is the dynamic between Steven and Amethyst was really cute.
Yeah, here's the thing. So I think out of the Steam Bomb, we didn't get any bad episodes, and it's not like the whole like we got a bunch of meh episodes. This one was just this one. This one I think out of all of them was kind of the least impressive by comparison, but it was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just like I think the other ones were better.
I just the one thing I can say about it is we got the whole the scene with Steven kind of acknowledging Amethyst at this point as the most mature of the crystal gems, and I thought that was some really damn good character development on Amethyst's part.
I just feel like this one suffered the most from this episode is all to be continued in filler. But again, it's not bad. I mean, this one we do get some growth with Amethyst. I kind of hesitate a little bit with filler, but it's padded if not filler. It's like it feels like we really need this with another episode. Otherwise, it's like because we ended like, hey, we've reached our destination, and next episode. It feels like it basically feels like it really spun its wheels and kind of stalled. It feels like it stalled. I love the crying Pearl gag where Pearl's like trying to comfort Sapphire, and then Ruby's gone, and the Pearl's panicking. Oh my God, Garnet was my favorite couple. Like,
That's what I love about the whole thing in general. The whole Steven Bomb is it's kind of like everyone's mourning the loss of America's favorite couple.
Yeah, it's like Chris Pratt and Anna Faris is like, no.
God.
So let's see. So essentially, I think the only thing I really have to say on it is essentially it's kind of it's the fun mom not showing weakness for Steven's sake. That's kind of what we have with this episode.
I do love the message. I love the message that like Steven, like at first when she's like, "Hey, Steven, come play video games with me," it's like you think she's not taking the situation seriously, but at the end of the day, like, no, she is like very much like this is not Steven's problem. It's not Steven's drama. At the end of it, Steven is just a kid. And I think the idea that we don't have to inherit the sins of Rose and we don't have to live in the shadow of Rose, I think that was a really good one, and it's a message that needed to get out there. And for that reason, I mean, it's the least substantial episode out of the Stephen Ball, but I do definitely think it has its merit to it.
I mean, I love the helicopter conversation, like that little deep, like the whole, yeah, how does that make you feel? That's like all this fun, ridiculous stuff with
Am I
Amethyst as a
getting too
helicopter.
personal, Steven? You're literally inside my head.
That's great. I mean, that's all fun. That's all great. And also, there's this great line on the rewatch. I caught this because I remember I love this line. Then it all came in the Sapphire is looking into the future, trying to find Ruby, and she says, "Why would she be a cowboy?" And she's crying in the
Oh my
Pearl's
god,
arms.
that is great. That is,
And
and I saw a. It's funny, Dragon. I saw a thumbnail that actually kind of spoiled the Cowboy Ruby thing, and I kind of had the same question, Dragon. I was like, why would she be a cowboy?
what's the thing? It's like it didn't occur to me on like to like the rewatch of she was seeing into the future, and it's just, like, the bafflingness.
I knew that was foreshadowing, Dragon. That's the thing. I knew about the Cowboy Ruby thing from the get-go.
Honestly, I just thought it was like a weird alternate future, but no, it paid off. And I was so swept up in the next one that it didn't occur to me. Oh, they did call that, but no, it goes. Speaking of which, you want to get to it?
Yeah, and this one might actually be my favorite of the bunch, to tell you the truth.
This is a great one, and of course, this is a great companion to the answer. Hence the whole answer.
Dare I say, Dragon? I don't think this eclipses Mr. Greg, but I think this is on the same kind of pantheon as Mr. Greg.
Pantheon. When you say it like pantheon, I guess maybe it's in the pantheon, sure.
I love all the vibes of it. I love the Western song that Ruby sings. I love the whole idea of Ruby as a cowboy. That it's so fun.
You know me, I got a soft spot.
Cowboy Ruby.
You know me, I got a soft spot for the old West, and especially for cowboys, specifically sheriffs. But I got a soft spot for cowboys.
Of course, Amethyst as the horse was a lot of fun. My favorite moment with that is when she just kind of casually walks up in the big reunion. She's just like, "Hey, what's up? I'm a horse."
I just love Pearl's reaction to that so much. It just cracks me up. Just like Pearl's frightened for a moment. It's just, "Hey, it's me. I'm a horse." It did make me think for a moment. For a moment, I was kind of missing BoJack Horseman.
I think I'm pretty sure season 5's coming around sometime this summer.
Yeah, and BoJack Horseman F is for family. I'm not hearing anything about when these are coming back. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're coming back.
For family, I think took like a year and a half, 2 years between seasons. So don't expect that this year.
Gotta be at least a year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Anyway, so back to the episode. So yes, the cowboy was a random choice, but it was a fun choice, and it's kind of
I don't necessarily
Ruby.
think it's random though. I definitely think it was. I think it was well thought out to show kind of like the the isolation that Ruby's feeling and the fact that she does need to be her own person. I think it's a really nice kind of arc that she went on, a really nice journey.
I like Ruby realizing, singles life is not for her. And honestly, I don't know if this is where they were pulling this from. I'd be really impressed if Rebecca Sugar, whoever wrote this one, was like pulling from. But I wonder if they're pulling from City Slickers, though, because City Slickers is all about kind of the midlife crisis go out west. That's kind of what that's all about. And it was a fun movie, by the way. Have you ever seen City Slickers?
No, I haven't.
I'd recommend it. It's even the sequels, like
the Steve Martin movie.
No, Tiki. It's Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal. Okay.
Billy Crystal and Jack Palance.
Well, Billy Crystal's kind of like the same era of comedian as Steve Martin.
Oh, sure, but it's.
I know it's not Steve Martin, but anyways.
Anyway, what was I getting at? So yeah, saying it's kind of in the vein of that. So it was really fun. And by the way, because Greg's used very sparingly, but he's used very importantly. We have two great moments.
Greg's making the argument on the side of like maybe they should be their own people. They've spent thousands of years together.
Yeah, Greg, he's kind of look. I'm gonna go for you're gonna probably roll your eyes at this. I know you're gonna roll your eyes at this, but you know what? Greg had kind of like a Steve Rogers, people need that. It's like kind of a Steve Rogers from Civil War moment here, where it's like, hey, people need the right to choose. Like you can't violate that right, Tony. It's kind of like one of those.
You're not wrong.
I mean, honestly, I say that because I love that Greg is being very diplomatic about the situation of like, no, Shoeball, you can't get in the way of this. It's like it's their choice to make. You don't want to impose your own will. Like if you force a fusion, it's not going to be Garnet, by definition.
Exactly, exactly.
And with that, I love Greg's line. Honestly, it boils down to this with Greg for me in this episode. I just love he had that great line of basically when we asked how he reacts to the whole Pink Diamond news. And he says, well, I knew her as Rose and she knew me as Mr. Universe. In reality, she's Pink Diamond. I'm actually Greg DeMeo. I mean, that's what I just love the simplicity of Greg Universe's worldview. I'm just like, yeah, that's all he needs. That's Greg right there. And then, of course, unless there's anything else, we should get to the big proposal.
No, let's do it. Let's do it. Like I said, I have to emphasize, I love the Western song.
I'm with you. I really like it too. I mean, I like the song here. I love the song in our last episode too. I mean, the songs
okay, yeah, I agree. Very on point with the music during the Stephen Baum.
Yes. So yes, so the proposal was big. I didn't see it coming, but I got to tell you, I felt ridiculous after the question. Of course, like, how did I not put that together? You know what it is?
At this point, Steven Universe is just kind of taking a "fuck you" attitude to conservatism. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, you're against gay marriage? Fuck you! Like we're just going to be right out front with it.
Kind of an aggressive way of putting it, but yes, I agree with you. That's kind of what the approach.
Okay, well, to be fair, I'm getting the "fuck you" thing from one of the reviews I saw of "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" That phrases the way that Fred Rogers did things as a "fuck you" to those types of people. So, I think this way is a little bit more appropriate than comparing the Mr. Rogers "fuck you."
I gotta tell you, every time you mention that, I get a little bit, I get jealous every time.
I know you do. I'm sorry. I hope it comes to a theater near you very soon.
Anyway, yeah, the you know what it is, it's probably as though I probably would have sniffed that immediately if because I'm thinking of Rocko's Modern Life. They had an episode they did in Rocko's Modern Life. Filbert got married to Dr. Hutchins. The cat.
Yes, I remember that episode. It was so bizarro.
It was, and what they did is they it was like a kind of a two-parter within the half hour, within the 20 minutes, and each section was called the big question and then the big answer. And again, had big been in this title, I would have instantly yep, big question. I would have thought Rocko's Modern Life. Would have thought, okay, it's a proposal episode, but I guess they didn't work on that one. So anyway, so I love. Here's what really won me over on it. Don't run. It was a good moment regardless. It was a great moment regardless. But here's what I really love about the idea and what they said in dialogue. It made me think, oh my God, this was such a brilliant move. And I love this sweet romantic idea that they decided to get married. Sapphire kind of questions like, married? Why do we want to get married? And essentially Ruby's reason was, the idea of like they can be fused forever even when they're apart. I thought that was such a beautiful idea. It's like, yes, that's so romantic and so nice. Yes. Okay. It's that's the one way you can transcend fusion if you're kind of always fused even when apart. Yes. And that kind of justified the wedding because you'd think, here's the thing, you walk a line with this proposal story, not just through like controversy or anything, but we'll kind of get to that with like the last one because I'm sure people are gonna like censors or not censors, but I'm sure people like there'd be like certain closed-minded fans or sexa fans are gonna be like, hey, we got issues with this, but we'll get there. But with the proposal itself, it's just this. It's like, how do you justify it would have felt like a forced agenda, like we're going to get these characters married because we've been kind of hinting at this for a while. Why not get them married? Let's take it. It doesn't feel like we're taking like a side of an issue. It just feels like kind of a natural way of kind of that upping the fusion. Like, how do you kind of get past? If we just have Garnet fusing, it'd be okay. That'd be a good story, but we kind of expect that. But like, how do we make it not an expected move? Well, we make it even a bigger step, and that's what they did, and it was great. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's talk Maid of Honor.
I really like that play on words in the title.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Again, here's the thing: when they first announced, when we saw the titles of the Stephen Bomb, you said Maid of Honor. I assumed like it was made like the battle, like a battle thing. You are Maid of Honor. I did not see all these weddings, and it all came into focus. Like, yeah, Maid.
Well, to be fair, that is kind of what it is. That is kind of what the title's referencing. So I do like that kind of fake out.
I know it's kind of a great.
It's like a fake out within a fake out.
It's a great kind of story double entendre in a way. And again, like the last three titles, like yeah, they all correspond with the marriage thing. Didn't see it coming, but it makes perfect sense.
All right, so we get a reunion with Bismuth. Not a ton to talk about with this one, but I definitely think the voice acting is very on point for Bismuth.
Yeah, it's it was great to see Bismuth back, and we're setting things right with Bismuth. We kind of did something with Steven here, and then the next one I really liked, where Steven he's kind of more about words than actions, and I always appreciate that with a character, one who's not going to be eager for the fight. His guy's going to be like, hey, let's you want some wedding guests that they know, and like, hey, Bismuth's one of the classic Crystal Gems. Things went south with that because of Rose, so let's kind of correct things there because now the cat's out of the bag. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
We have this gag. I could have sworn, and at least to me, it feels like a meta gag we have in this episode where Steven's trying to give Bismuth an entrance. Like they're all toasting, and he says, like, including.
Oh my god, I know exactly what you're gonna say. Yes, do it.
Including Pearl.
We
yes,
we definitely get an and Pearl.
That's the thing. So after like including Pearl, and then there's a big goodbye where and Steven says, yes. And Pearl. I lost it at that. But like, oh my god, yes. Yeah. So we definitely confront Steven with the fact that he's the new leader of the Crystal Gems. He's the interim leader of the Crystal Gems here. It's pretty big and does come into play in big time next episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the great kind of corny line, did you guys bismuth me?
Yes.
Also, the Peridot. Peridot was on point. Again, it's been a while since we've gotten some good Peridot stuff, and she was in Rare.
If I have one, it's not even a complaint with the Steven Bomb. It's more kind of like a complaint with the way that the season as a whole was structured.
Yeah,
I feel like this last Steven Bomb was kind of just making up for lost time a little bit.
I definitely got a sense of that, especially
everything was really good. It was just kind of like, man, I just wish we had more of this throughout the season.
Oh, by the way, I love the rings. I love that Bismuth made the rings.
That was adorable. That was very heartwarming.
Yeah. All right.
Oh okay. Man, we're going through these quickly.
And here's the big. This is the big meat and potatoes of it all, folks. Okay.
Tell me this isn't an epic shot. This is like the Avengers, like 1-page spread of Steven.
This is the whole bring me Thanos. This is kind of their yeah, this is kind of their like, okay, diamonds.
Like I said, Dragon, if this was the series finale, I'd be all for it, honestly.
Yeah, here's the thing: it could be a series finale, but we definitely need an epilogue after this. If it were a season, if it were a series finale, it's like the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, again, I think there's one last thing they got to do with the story before we wrap up. So I think that's why we're getting again more on that after we get to reunited. Point is, reunited. So of course, reunited. It feels so good. No, seriously, it's really good. It's a wonderful finale. I was very impressed by it. We have the wedding. We have this great musical number. I think the musical number is called just one day. Let's think about love. It was. Really great. It felt like almost like a Gene Kelly musical number. It felt really nice. At least Steven was animated as if he were Gene Kelly in this. The way he was dancing, kind of using all the set pieces. Like, yeah, it was old school and nice. And
I thought we were going to get a 22-minute Mr. Greg, and I got really excited.
To be fair, I lost my mind over this. What was happening? It was so simple, Tiki, but Pearl in top hat and tails.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I knew you'd go nuts for that, of course.
And that's a reference that they have to be referencing Mr. Greg with it, because it was literally she wasn't wearing the top hat, then Steven put the top hat on her. It had to be a Mr. Greg reference. Like, yes, Pearl in top hat and tails, hot dog, yeah, woo! Like, yeah, like it was great. Anyway, so off just the love of Pearl in top hat. So the episode was like firing on had a great momentum from the start, and it just kept that going. I felt.
Yeah, it's kind of broken up into kind of two logical halves, being like the wedding ceremony itself, and then kind of like the big Dragon Ball Z action sequence that goes on once the diamonds arrive.
What's interesting is the way
that was a good kind of structurally a good split.
The way this aired, it kind of felt like a 3-act structure. The way this aired, and I thought that was a smart move on their part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it is. They technically would be split in the middle the way you said, but it just kind of feels like okay, wedding, diamonds arrive, and then the whole astral Steven thing. That kind of feels like the three act structure.
Right, right.
So, of course, the wedding itself, we have this cute bit while they're at the altar. Well, we've known each other for 5,750 years and 8 months.
And 8 months, yes.
And then we get so here's the thing I'm sure like is I don't want to say controversial. It's not a negative thing. I'm sure some people read it as a negative thing. I don't know. I'm saying people are we've mentioned before. There's
Well,
a
okay,
rabid.
here's the thing, Dragon. Here's the thing. Like, I promise to not make this channel political at all, and for the most part, I've stuck to that promise. But I gotta say, in times like this, I gotta kind of make a stand here. Like, I feel like we're living in a culture where it's either one extreme or another. You know what I mean? It's either like the Trump, like super uber conservative, or it's like the SJW, like let's let all things fly. And basically on the side of things where it's like, if there's anything that's even mildly, if there's anything that could even be construed, it's SJW right now. There's a certain side of people that are going to go nuts and just say it's like SJW propaganda, essentially. And Dragon, I will say, I gotta say, like, I'm certainly not a Trump supporter by any means, but in terms of the SJW of it all, I lean more conservative than I do liberal. But yeah, I hate that we're living in a world like that where it's like, like, oh, it's a gay wedding. Well, it must be SJW propaganda then. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sorry, that's way more political than I want to go right now, but I just had to get that out there.
Well, I bring it up because I don't want to give anything away for the show I want to make a comparison to. Let's just say we there was a show I really like that let's just say towards its kind of its final moments they skirted that line where they wanted to tell they wanted to do something like essentially like this wedding like the big kiss we had at the wedding here and they kind of had to kind of do something that intimated it but they couldn't do it and now, I mean, I don't know if this is a first. I don't know like how historic this might be, but this quite possibly might be. If not, this very notably might be the first kind of same-sex kiss in animation. I'm not, at least for an animated series in recent years. Again, I don't know how historic this is or not, but
These two haven't kissed each other on the show before.
well, they've kissed, but never on never like a married on the lips kiss. Like they've never done
I
that.
mean, I
That's the
will
thing.
say this is probably the first gay marriage in any kid show.
That too. I mean, I'm saying that, and again, like the full, like kind of the full Monty kiss in a way. There, it's kind of the. I don't think they've. I think that's a first in animation. At least on tell. I don't mean an animation period. I'm sure there are like short films and such that have
Well,
done
this
stuff like
had a gay marriage and stuff like that, but I digress.
on the whole, I mean, is I don't think we've done stuff like this in televised animation. I think it's probably the best way of putting it. It's a first, and that's kind of cool though. Again, it's the fact it was a really good wedding too. I love when Garnet Fuse using like this really cool amalgamation of kind of the wedding suit and the wedding dress, and it was great. And also, he kind of honestly, I don't know if that might have been me reading it this way. I like that Ruby and Sapphire were kind of swapped in who you thought would have been wearing the tuxedo and who you thought would have been wearing the dress. And it was kind of like, I thought it was maybe kind of a strategic choice. So yeah, you'd
No,
think
I kind of picked up on that too. I'm
because
glad.
Sapphire always wears the dresses, and Ruby's very kind of athletic, and they kind of
Right,
switched.
right.
I thought it was a nice choice.
Uh huh.
Sapphire really pulled off that tux. I don't know what it was. I was like, yeah, nice and refreshing. Okay, so
No one can pull off a tux like Pearl, but
of course, I mean, certainly. Yes. Anyway, that's so the wedding. The point is, the wedding was great. And also, we had some fun gags, like like the mayor and Mayor Dewey and the male guy,
Jamie.
Jamie. Yes, James. So
Yeah,
it's been a while, folks.
pining after Garnet.
It was kind of nice. Like always.
I told you that Jamie Loves Garnet episode was the first episode of Tiki's Universe I covered, right?
I believe. I think. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Kind of a random one to start with.
Yeah, it was really random. Anyway, so yeah, we had some fun gigs there, and it was so on the whole, so the wedding was great. Then we have let's talk about the big battle.
Yeah, and this is where the episode just straight up becomes probably the most Dragon Ball Z-esque the show's been since probably Super Watermelon Island, I would say.
I'd agree, and folks, I can attest to all these because as a kid, one of the things I always loved about Dragon Ball Z is like you just have kind of this It always starts with like a party or like a gathering of friends because they want an excuse to have all the fighters. And again, in retrospect, it's still even thinking back to it, still was a cool idea because you just have what you'd have. It's like Age of Ultron starts off in a similar way. Like they're all kind of hanging out and kind of palling around. Then you can have them like unprepared. Therefore, you build the tension for your villain of like he caught them while they're like essentially while their pants were down. Like oh my god, they're all in a state of weakness and like like it's like it's peacetime, it's gone violent. So it's always have something like that. And it's kind of what we have here. It's like the ultimate peacetime. And how could we ruin this fine wedding day? Who's going to ruin Garnet's big day? The diamonds. And again, the diamonds being the giant symbol of like they were very against fusion. They saw fusion outside of necessity as an ugly thing. So of course, if anyone's gonna ruin the wedding, it's gonna be the diamonds.
Uh-huh.
So yes, so let's see. So we see the sheer power of the cluster. The cluster comes back in a big way. It was like, yeah, bring back the cluster, and they found out.
Really cool that after the cluster was built up to be like kind of like the ultimate threat when it was first introduced, like it's really good, satisfying storytelling to be like, it's not the threat anymore, is it?
I just love this recurring theme that we really ushered in, specifically in this Stephen Bomb, but I guess through the course of the series as well. But just here specifically, I love that we reward kindness and compassion in battle here, where we see that they had the cluster on their side because Stephen gave it compassion. He didn't wipe it out. He treated it with compassion and understanding. That's how he treats all the foes, even the diamonds. He tried talking things out before fighting. And I always love that approach with a character. It's like something I love when we do this in Batman stories. At times, I always love when Batman tries to talk something out before. Superman does it all the time. It's like when Batman tries to do it, sometimes like, yeah, that's great.
Oh,
we kind of have that. We had that here, and it was delightful. The giant thumbs up. It was great. Then, of course, here's the thing: we just keep trumping one thing after the other. Where it's like, yes, okay, cluster, giant thumbs up, giant arm wrestling match between the diamond ships. Okay, that's awesome and over the top. How do we get any better than that? Okay, so then Blue Diamond appears, and Blue Diamond's, we can't reason with her, and we have this great basically this empathic thing that she can do. Basically, she.
Oh my god, that was a really powerful idea right there.
It was, and it's basically the thing that because and again, this made even more sense, by the way, since the whole Rose reveal. That that's why Stephen. There was a mystery of like why Stephen was getting emotional, why he was crying every time why was he feeling Blue's emotional state? Of course, the reason was that he was also a diamond technically. That's why they all had a link. They all had like a diamond link, and now her empathy powers, like she can basically made everything blue and all. Basically, it made everything blue and sad, and everybody's all crying and stuff. And I love, if you notice, I'm sure you can make an argument with Garnet, but by the same token, Garnet's a really strong fusion. But when the gems all fuse together, make the giant, make the Alexandrite. I think that's the giant.
Alexandrite, I think.
Yeah, I think Alexandrite's like the trio fusing together. I think that's anyway.
I love the scale that we get in this fight scene.
Yeah, we have a great scale, and what I'm saying is, like, when that empathy thing happens, again, the sad emotional state, you'll notice the fusion broke down. They all defused from Alexandrite, and I think that suggests that again, like emotionally, when you affect the emotions of them when they're not in unison, when they're not all together, they're going to, because of just that little shift in emotion, they're going to defuse because they can't stabilize, like the feelings they were having before that.
Right.
There, and of course, Lapis' return. I love a good old Lapis, and she came back, and oh my God, she had such. Honestly, there was such kind of like a Hulk. I'm always angry moment. It was such like that's my secret, Cap.
I mean, I definitely got a sense of like, all right, this is for the fans here.
Like when Garnet was saying, "You ruined my big day. This was my day." And says, "Are you trying to?" Honestly, I was geeking out over this conversation with Blue Diamond. Really comes into focus that again, the reason Garnet fused was Blue Diamond saying, this display of fusing, it's appalling in my course. You are the fusion. Again, she's remembering thousands of years back, and it's so cool. It's like, you were the fusion that disrupted my court, and it's just Garnet walking through, and we're playing the big song that she had when she was fighting Jasper in the first season.
Dragon, I got excited because I thought we were going to get a follow-up song to Stronger Than You for a second.
I gotta tell you though, it was kind of like a cool subversion though. Like we were expecting that. It was like a big girl. You're gonna fight me by clinging to my feet. No, I was just making sure you weren't gonna take 3 steps to the left or the right. And of course, I love that again. If her power is making people cry. I love how like water drips on her head like tears, and then it's Lapis. Lapis coming back, yeah. All that was great. Then the yellow diamonds enter in the fray. We have this big, oh my god, the destabilization moment where Peridot gets destabilized. It was really haunting. I felt because Bismuth, Bismuth is kind of warming up the Peridot. These two characters know nothing about each other. It's like I like this little
really hitting it off. I like that.
Yeah, I like her. She's got
Peridot also rocks the yellow flower girl dress.
Oh my god, I loved
it's like one of the few times we see her being feminine, and I love it.
I remember last time she tried on the boxer shorts. I was like the last. I think there was that, and maybe I think she had like a tie or like a hat or something once. I think it was like she wore like a tie or something when they're doing the big pumpkin episode. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, God, what was I going to say? Oh yes, I love the flower girl gag too. Where she's like throwing the flower. Mission accomplished. So all that's great, but again, it was so heartbreaking to see her.
How confident she is with Yellow Diamond. She's like, I've told off this clod before. I can do it again.
And I was like, no, Paradise, go back. And as it was happening, it's like, no, I don't remember you. It was like a Ronan the Accuser moment from Guardians. The whole like, actually, I do remember your family. The screams were pitiful. It's like one of those moments. So like, blasted her, and I was heartbreaking. Like, oh, poor Perry. So, honestly, I like that. I read it as this, Tegan. By all means, if you read it differently, tell me. When Steven got stomped on by Yellow Diamond, I read it as that's the closest. Basically, I read the whole astral plane. Steven went to kind of like this weird astral plane. We don't know all the answers to this, but I read it as if Steven gets severely injured, it'll be the closest thing to him like destabilizing as a gem. It's like he goes to this nexus, kind of this astral plane. It's like he was stomped on point blank, and he had that shield going on. It's like the only reason he survived.
All I can say about that stuff for you is there's Harry Potter comparisons that I don't want to bore you with, but people who know Harry Potter probably know what I'm talking about. So I'll just kind of leave it at that for my interpretation.
Well, we know he has dream powers because that's how he kind of talks to the clusters. It was either like again, it was like a near death thing. Like I think it was like a near death thing, or it was like or it was just like he got knocked out, and when he's knocked out, he just could go into like a deeper form of the dream thing. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, but the astral plane was cool. I loved the giant statues and everything. And again, it was like might be read as like convenient, but I really loved all the way he used to run through the astral projections. He can give them pep talks. So they kind of heard like the Force or something. It's like, they heard like, yeah. And it was like Steven being an effective leader.
How he's like Steven's like trying to be helpful, but really he's just kind of throwing them all off. I guess he's not throwing them off because they take his advice, but it's kind of like for a moment it's just kind of like that. What the hell, like.
Yeah, but then like they take it instantly.
Garnet's moment was nice because I believe it was Garnet who was like, "You never stop surprising me, Steven."
Yeah, it was nice, and it's. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the pearl that kind of gets me. Where he's like, right there, I gotta do it again. They were calling. There's a very direct fan servicey reference. Well, I do it for, we do it for her. I do it for him.
Yes.
I do it for her. I do it for him. And Steve just kind of jumped in with this great like, flick, and you miss again. I do it for yourself too, bro. And what I love, it's a fun like, yeah, we all love the song. Do it. Don't forget yourself. And then there's also like that great thing. Yeah, Pearl, do it for yourself too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was all really nice, and the fact that again Steven was able to break through to the diamonds, and we end on this great. As a cliffhanger goes, it's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like you said, it definitely. I question. I guess kind of transitioning into future speculation here. I think you and I can both agree it's probably for the best that season 6 be the final season.
Yes, and I'm hoping it's gonna. I don't want to say hoping that the show needs to end. I'm saying hope in that I hope they end. If I hope they have an ending in place, and I hope they implement it before it drags on, before they have to implement it. You know what I mean? I hope it's like naturally season 6 would be the ending. Just assuming I think they only have like one story point left, and I think once they do that, then it's going to end. Therefore, the next season should be the last one. That's what I'm getting at. But
yeah, and B, like I said, like I've expressed earlier, Dragon, I don't necessarily think we have the story material to cover 22 episodes or 23 or however long these seasons
well,
last.
this season went 24, so it's within that range. Yeah.
And frankly, season 5 was really disappointing as a whole. Just kind of, I guess, getting into season 5 wrap up talk. Like, as a whole, I think season 5 ended really strong. That's probably what's going to redeem season 5 as overall. But as a whole, I got to tell you, like, it's better than season 1 because season 1 is kind of just that slog that everyone has to get into the show to begin with. But it's certainly weaker than 2, 3, and 4. I mean, it's not even like, it's not even on the same level as 2, 3, and 4, in my opinion.
Well, did you see the promo?
No, I didn't.
We did actually get footage from season 6. Again, that's like part of it's in the can already. So basically, we got kind of the epilogue, or at least kind of like the beginning of next season, like a brief bit we did see where we see the aftermath where the diamonds are on Earth, which is kind of trippy, by the way. It's like these giant diamonds kind of walking around. And of course, I've mentioned this before, just because it's like the last of season 5. Just want to mention I always love with Blue Diamond. She looks like a Jim Henson design. I always love that. She has a very Henson-esque design with like the way she's
very dark crystal. Dark crystal.
Yes, that's the one specifically. Yes, dark crystal. She's very dark crystal inspired. So basically, they're having a conversation about, oh my God, Pink Diamond. How could you survive? And then as they're having that conversation, they mention the corrupted gems, and I believe what they're getting at is that maybe the diamonds will be able to save fix the corrupted gems. So like they're taking them to all the bubble gems.
Mm-hmm.
And we also saw Centipedal. So those are the 3 things that we kind of had teased to us. Now here's what I'm going to say overall. Only one thing really with season 6 is that I feel we have 3 to 4 story points left to tell with the series as a whole. There are 3 to 4 loose ends we need to tie up. One, White Diamond. That's a big one. We got to do White Diamond next season. And White Diamond, I want White Diamond to be the end all. I want us to redeem Yellow and Blue, but I want White Diamond to be the worst of the worst. I want White Diamond to be the one they can't change. I want White Diamond to be our big bad guy. Because we can't look. I'm all for redeeming our bad guys, but by the same time, we do need at least. Because if we've redeemed the diamonds, then we really have no bad guys.
It's funny that like Jasper was at one point the big bad of the series, and she was a pretty good big bad when she was around.
And we redeemed Jasper even. And that's what I'm saying. Well, like, Tiki, if you really look at it, we've had no bad guys at all in this show, and I'm saying it would be refreshing. We actually had.
Well, I mean, we redeemed her, but Jasper was pretty damn evil when we first introduced her.
I'll give you. All right, I'll give you that. But yeah, I'll give you that. But the point is, we haven't had like a full-fledged. Okay, the point is, we haven't had a pure evil bad guy at the very least. Because again, Jasper was complicated because Jasper liked Rose, and of course, if Jasper were honestly, if they fixed Jasper, then Jasper had a lot to kind of contend with this season.
Sure.
Anyway, so the point is, I want White Diamond as a bad guy. At the very least, I want big White Diamond stuff. Beyond that, I imagine.
So that kind of bleeds into the current timeline with Steven's birth. That's something.
I know, that's the thing. I still think we should end with Steven. Either end as a penultimate or the last episode is like an epilogue or something. We got to see Steven's birth. Those 2 are the biggies. And here's a lesser one to the Kurg move. We should probably have Peridot and Lapis Fuse.
Sure.
And I guess again, just the last I already mentioned, but the whole like fixing the corrupted gems. Like those are the 4 story points I imagine that we have to wrap up before the series is over.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's see.
Thoughts on season 5 as a whole, Dragon?
Season 5 as a whole, it definitely was the bumpiest of all the Steven Universe seasons. I think we can say that pretty.
Well, again, I think with season 1's kind of a weird thing because that was like 60 episodes, and like at least half of it was solid filler. So
I'll give you that again. But then again, season 1's like the whole like we gotta walk. We're trying to. Basically, it's like throwing things up against walls.
It's like Big Brother 1. It's like you can't compare it to the rest of the seasons. It's just an oddity unto itself structurally.
Like with any first season, you got to figure out what's what your. It takes a few to get you hooked on Steven Universe. That's kind of the. the experience. And yeah, it's a universal thing. Everyone's not thrilled with one, folks. It's like if you're not alone if you feel that way. Everyone's that way. I was actually talking to a friend of mine who had no idea he was a Steven Universe fan. Like, really, you're a Steven Universe? Why did you ever tell me this? And like, yeah, when he was telling me about it, he like told me the whole like, oh yeah, it took me a while to get into it because season 1 was not that good. It's like, yeah, I know, it took me a while. It took me cat fingers and too many birthdays, but I got there. But yeah, it was. But yeah, season 5 as a whole. I think here's the thing. I think season 5 as a whole had to combat with fatigue, and that was aired terribly. I hated how.
Yeah,
Honestly, that's what killed season 5 for me in places. I hate how it was aired. I really wish if they're gonna do a season.
But I mean, even outside of how it was aired, Dragon, I feel like there was way, way, way too much filler in season 5 too. I mean, that was a big problem.
The worst thing about season 5 is that it was just too much consistent filler, like filler after filler after. Again, like that one Steven bomb really hurt. It was like a blast against the hull of the ship that is Steven Universe. Like, okay, it's taking on water. It'll make it to port, but it's taking on water. Let's see. All right, yeah. So again, I think that's pretty much. Again, we had some. We had nearly not enough Pearl, but I think we pulled it all. I think we pulled it all together in the end. I'll give it that much. I think the Steven bomb was probably most rewarding out of that. This Steven bomb and the big Rose reveal is probably where things really got
Sure.
started.
All right, thanks for watching, folks. I'm sure we'll be back with Steven Universe Season 6 probably sooner than we think, given that there's already footage for it. But in the meantime, we're in full swing with our coverage of DuckTales and Big Hero 6. They're kind of airing back-to-back each week, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we are the Crystal Gems. We'll always save the day, and if you think we can't, we'll always find a way, and that's why the people of this world believe in Tiki,
Dragon, and Steven.
and Pearl.
Yeah!